Hey guys, it's me, Toffee Dog, and for once I'm starting this in the morning. It is nearly 11, but we will be leaving for church soon. Hopefully I'll help out with the little kids again. They're very nice, they're very sweet, and they're so adorable. Later this afternoon we'll be going to see Alice Through the Looking Glass, which I really wanted to see. I know the first movie, as I said yesterday, I didn't think it was like anything special, but this is a sequel or a prequel, so it'll be nice just to see if it's any better. Unfortunately the critics don't seem to think so, but I might think different. Yeah. And I just found out today, I searched at my channel, I have 10 subscribers now. Keep in mind I had 7 like just under a week ago, so I've gotten 3, which if you consider the percentage of how many I had before, it's just over half, 50% more subscribers, which is nuts. Thank you so much everyone. It really gives me this motivation and I'm so happy. Here's our lunch. I've got a, oh fudge, okay. This has a Coke. Enjoying, he's got a large one. Got Chicken Legend range, ready to go see Alice in Wonderland. How are you feeling?
Okay.
Good. Alright, I'm going to try this again. Maybe it's just too full. Okay. So me and my brother are back from the movies. It was a good movie, but I will talk about it later because I have convinced my dad to put on Woman in Black and for all of us to watch it together, which is a horror film. It's not the scariest horror film, but it's honestly the only horror film I've seen apart from Paranormal Activity, and I really want to see how they react and also see myself react. It'll be a lot of fun. I've literally just had dinner. Yeah, I'm sounding really weird. Still need to unpack these guys, still haven't, and really must. And I really must put these guys back, those vehicles. So I'm going to turn off the TV because I'm hopefully going to watch Woman in Black. Hopefully I won't get too scared, because last time when I watched it at school, we watched it in an English lesson and couldn't turn my back to a dark door for 2 weeks. So I don't think it will have the same effect. Hopefully not. But I'm going to end this bit here and I'll talk about Alice Through the Looking Glass more once that's done. So me and my parents have just finished watching Woman in Black. It was not at all as scary as I remembered it being. I knew it wasn't that scary when I first watched it. There was a few bits that made me jump, but the few bits that did make me jump didn't jump at them at all. So it's an okay film. It's very easy to figure out what's going on though, so if you want a film that's easy to decipher, then you can watch that. But let's talk about Alice Through the Looking Glass, because I wanted to leave a moment where I could talk about it. Now, I was really happy when I found out a sequel was going out. I was a bit disappointed that Tim Burton was not prepared to direct a sequel, but he was a producer, so there was parts of it he was involved in. I know that when I was reading up about it, he didn't want to do a sequel, which is fine, but I am glad the director took control of it. Someone else, I'll look it up. But the thing, I definitely liked the end of it. The end of it isn't nothing big, but it's so satisfying for me as a girl, because I am really into equality, especially with women's rights and everything. And at the beginning, I'm just going to put spoilers now because I'm going to be talking about the film. If you haven't seen it, just don't watch the rest of the vlog. So basically, Hamish from the last film, he's gotten married. He is now sort of the lead B. He's like, I think the barrister, I might be wrong. He's married another woman, so he's like top dog. He's in charge of all the finances and everything that goes on. Because his father passed away while Alice was on her ship, exploring the world. And he basically says to her, no, you can't go sailing anymore on your dad's ship. You know, you have to sell it so you have this nice house. And her mum obviously feels like she has no choice. Because all the deeds have been passed over to Hamish, which makes Hamish even more irritating. You know, he was irritating to begin with, but he couldn't do anything. He was irritating, yes. But when you get something like that who's irritating and then gets power, that's just a recipe for disaster. That's just... And also he's very sexist. He's like, a woman. What kind of woman can sail and do this, do a man's job? So obviously I got a bit annoyed. So I was like, excuse me. But I suppose that was the time. So long story short, at the end, she lets her mum sign it. She's like, okay, sign it. But her mum rips it up, tells her, my daughter shall be whatever she wants to be, so on and so forth. That's not exactly the words. Oh, and that ending is so satisfying. So that was one good thing about it. It definitely tackled the issue about it, and I'm glad that they did it in such a way it wasn't forced. That's one of the big things I liked about it. The second thing was, as you guys might have heard if you've been following, or if you know the actor Alan Rickman who voiced Absalom, he passed away while they were filming. I'm not a massive fan of the Harry Potter series, but I definitely watched it and I loved his character Snape. Something about him that just made me adore him, even when he was being mean to Harry, even when he murdered Dumbledore. Even then, I liked him, even though I loved Dumbledore and I hated, but I really liked the character Snape. And to find out that he had passed away was really sad. But I know it sounds silly, but throughout the film I was thinking, okay, they must make a tribute or something at the end for him. They must do. They can't just leave it untouched. And we're sat through the credits, and usually I am one of the people who just go off straight after the film's finished. I don't even sit through the credits. But I was like, no, I'm going to sit through to the end. And they had this little thing at the end just saying, dedicated to Alan Rickman, and that just felt satisfying. So those were the good bits. Now the critics have said it was a bad film, and there are certain things I get why they said it was a bad thing. Now I'm just trying to remember them. Oh gosh. Okay, so some major spoilers ahead. This is the main premise of the story. So Alice goes back into Wonderland, and you are immediately flooded with all the characters from the last film. All the sort of, you've got the Mad Hatter, you meet him later on. You've got the March Hare, you've got the little Dormouse, you've got Bernard the dog. You've got all those characters. But throughout the film, all they do is follow the main characters. They don't have any benefit to the film. They literally just follow in the main character's footsteps. So the White Queen, the Queen of Hearts, Alice, the Mad Hatter, all those characters, and of course Time, they literally just follow. And it's sort of a bit sad because, you know, those characters before, they played a role. Bernard got Alice to the castle. The Dormouse made her find the Bandersnatch. All those sort of things. Oh, the Bandersnatch was in it as well. But the Bandersnatch for one is just used for transport. Bernard is not really that good, but he's definitely, the moments that were dramatic, or the moments they were trying to make dramatic, he was talking, because he's got that sort of voice where everything sort of turns dramatic when he speaks. But that really annoyed me in some ways. I was like, no, you didn't have to bring them back. Of course I would have loved, of course I loved seeing them again, but you could have either given them relevance in the film, or to just not include them at all, or if you're going to include them, just have Alice run into them. But that's one of the things I disliked about the film, which I understand why, because it seemed like only 4 or 5 characters seemed relevant in that film, and there was far more than 5. Another thing is, again, the whole premise of the story is Alice is travelling back in time because the Mad Hatter's dying. This is the thing I know, the Mad Hatter's dying because he's losing his madness, and it all has to do with his family, because he's recently discovered a hat he created as a kid and thinks his family is still alive, so he's sort of losing his madness over it. So she goes back in time to save them, and it's about half the film she goes through different points in time, and I won't give the whole thing away, but then she basically finds out at the end they're alive. And she couldn't change the past, she couldn't change how the Queen of Hearts got mad at the Hatter, which made her want revenge, which made her Jabberwocky, made her kill the village like they highlighted in the first film. All that she couldn't change, but turns out his family was alive. Now I started coming up with my own theories. Maybe they were left in the old castle, you know, the castle the Queen of Hearts was at before, and that would make it even worse because he was working there before briefly. And wouldn't it even be even more devastating for him that they were just under his noses? And I also thought, one, they could still be there because, well, that's her old castle, and at the very end of the first film, she gets banished. So when people get banished, she got banished from the battlefield. She got chained to her assistant. I will call him assistant for now. So obviously she couldn't go back to her castle and get things. So I was like, you know what? I bet you they're still at the castle from the first film. That would make it even more worse. They were just near him and he thought he had lost them. I thought, well, you know what? Maybe that's what's happened. They can travel to the castle. No, they travelled to, I don't know what to call it, castle. I'm just going to call it castle. So the Red Queen's been banished and she's managed to build up this heart-shaped castle, a heart-shaped building with these people. She's been banished. Oh, you never guess where the Hatter's family is. One, they're still alive. They travel there and he says, I know they're there. Where are they? And this is where it gets weird. The Queen of Hearts has always liked little animals, has always liked miniature ones, and she always used to have an ant farm, which has only been introduced in this film. Now we find out the Mad Hatter goes into the room and he says, I can feel my family. And in the ant farm, a hat starts to appear, a picture of a hat like the ants have made. No, turns out it's Mad Hatter's family. Yay! How does that work? And the only way I can guess it worked is they drank the potion from the first film that made Alice shrink. But then they would have had to drunk it, or the Queen would have forced them to drunk it. And it's like putting all that effort into caging them up when you could have just put them in the original prison. Now remember when I said they were banished? So he actually, okay, later on he manages to bring them back to full size. Great. But the thing I couldn't get out of my head was, one, she was banished. She couldn't take any of her possessions, or I assume she couldn't take any of her possessions, because when you're banished, you're just taken away straight away. So unless she had someone else bring her stuff to her, how did she get that ant farm? And I know she wanted revenge on the Hatter really bad, but did she really have to go through all the effort to bring his family to her, to a new location, just so we could get a sequel? That's the thing that annoyed me. I was like, you could have just, them being the size of an ant, you must have used a potion. Where did she get the potion from in the first place? Just all these questions. All I wanted was maybe a little clip of the family drinking the potion or being forced, like a flashback. I know it's silly. Okay, so that's the main issue I had with the film. And then one of the others was, turns out the Red Queen and the White One have a dark secret. Well, not a dark secret. She says, you know our secret. And all there's an audience going, ooh, the White Queen's keeping a secret. I wonder what it is. No, it turns out it's Tart. She basically blackmailed her sister. Well, not accidentally. So the Queen thought, the mum of the two Queens, the White and the Queen of Hearts, thought it was the Queen of Hearts that ate the tart. So she hated her sister, and because she got so upset, she ran out, banged her head, which is how she got her swollen head, which people teased her about, which is why the crown snapped off her head, why she got mad at the Hatter, and then eventually why she got revenge on him by kidnapping his parents. But the one thing I didn't get was at the very end, when everything's solved, the White Queen honestly, for the first time, says she is sorry. Now, obviously, that's all the Queen of Hearts wanted, and I can understand that. You've lived that long, everyone thinking your sister is innocent, she can do no wrong, and then obviously to find out she can. But literally, the moment she says, I'm sorry, they hug, and it seems the Red Queen of Hearts has just forgiven her like that. And remember, the Queen of Hearts has beheaded many people. She has set villages on fire. All of that, yes, it could be dealt with a sorry, but I never expected the Queen of Hearts, someone who could do all that, just to forgive her sister that quickly, which I know, which is what she wanted, but yeah. So that's my take on Alice Through the Looking Glass. I could have just made a whole different video on review, but that's my opinions on it. Again, it was an okay film. It was great to see the actor who played Moriarty in Sherlock, having his little cameo. And I don't know about you, but if I was that actress and he was sort of just like threatening to stab me with a needle, I'd be starstruck. You know, even if I was trying to hold myself together, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm acting with Moriarty. No, pull yourself together. No, I think I would be. Obviously, she's been in other things, so she might not be that bad, but I personally would be. So I'm going to end the vlog here. Obviously, it's going to be a bit longer with my Alice review, but that's what I think of it. Hopefully next week I'll get to see some other films. Can't wait for Finding Dory next month and some other great films. So, see you guys tomorrow. No idea what's going to happen, but it's going to be